Hey everyone, welcome back to the vlog. So I am officially done with my first rotation of M3 year, which is crazy. It has been the best 2 months and I am honestly just so thankful for the experience I had on internal medicine. It was so much better than I thought it was gonna be. The days were really long. We were there for 8 weeks and we got 1 day off a week and could work up to 80 hours, which I never did. I think the most I worked was like 65 1 week on house when we had call twice in 1 week. But it was honestly so worth it and so much fun. And I just loved every second. And now I'm very scared that I'm about to be that person who likes everything that I do. I thought I was gonna go in and be like, nope, I hate that, nope, I hate that. And that's just not how it's working out so far. So I might have a very hard decision for myself in a year, but I'm loving every minute of it. Medicine was everything and more than I thought it would be. So if you're in med school right now or about to start med school and you're in the books part, just know it gets so much better. Like that first patient interaction that you have where like they're your patient and you see them every day for a week and you're like their person, will be the best experience of your life, at least for me. Like that was something that I was kind of nervous about because I haven't really had that much patient interaction, but I loved it. Like you just get to meet so many people. You get to meet with so many people that like you know are in your class and like you know who they are, but like now you're with them in a small room every single day. And you just get to know everyone and you get to meet residents and you get to meet new attendings, and it's just fun to hear everyone's stories and like see how different people do different things and like what some people like and what others don't. So it was very fun. So I kind of just wanted to like go through what we did every day in the different rotations that I did while on internal medicine and just kind of tell you how it was for me. So every day, depending on what we were on, we would get there in the morning. So I started on oncology because we got to pick a subspecialty for the first 2 weeks. We could pick between oncology, geriatrics, cardiology, and hematology. And so on oncology, we would get there every morning at like 6 a.m. and then we would round with the attending and do discovery rounds, which is when everyone went in there and saw the patient for the first time together. And then we would be done by like 10:30 because usually the oncologist would have to go and do clinic. So that was very different than all my other experiences, but I honestly really liked discovery rounds because you kind of got to know everything about the patient with the attending, which was really nice because sometimes you get conflicting information from a patient. Like they'll tell the med student one thing, the resident another, and the attending another thing. So it was really nice with all of us in there getting the same information at the same time. And I did have to get used to getting there that early, but I thought that was early at the time, and then I got onto the VA and then I got onto house and we got there at 5:30 every morning, which everyone always says, but I was like, no, you don't actually get there at 5:30. No, we got there at 5:30 every morning, but it was fun. You got to bond. And so yeah, oncology, I've always kind of been interested in oncology. I'd shadowed T-Monk before and loved it, but it was really sad. And so I was expecting oncology to be just as sad. Which it was, don't get me wrong. It was kind of hard to start off there first because it is a sad subspecialty at times. But honestly, like we got to see one of my patients go from having a stroke and not being able to talk or move to talking and walking and leaving the hospital, which was amazing. Like seeing his transformation over the course of 2 weeks was something that I have never experienced. And honestly, like I just feel like it was such a rewarding experience for me because it was hard to see him go through that. And then once he came through it and got out, it was like, wow, like you actually did it. And we were there the whole time and got to support him the whole way, which was something that I will never forget. And neither will the other M3 who I was with because we really just formed a great bond with this patient. And it was even written in our note from our attending because he even noticed how much of an impact we made on this patient, and it was just a great experience. So then the next 2 weeks I went to the VA, which I knew I would love because I have a very soft spot for the military and I just love a good military story. So I enjoyed every second in the VA. It was such a different pace than the hospital because it's like more slow paced, but all the patients at the VA are amazing. Like, they honestly make the experience so worth it. All the attendings are great. All of the residents were amazing. And I just love the patients. Like, being able to listen to their stories, and like, you're helping someone who risked their own lives for us. Like, we had patients from World War I, from Vietnam, not World War I, World War II, Vietnam, Iraq, everywhere. And it was just crazy to hear all of their different stories and just what they did for our country. And now we get to serve them and just help them out. We got to see heart failure, we got to see strokes, we got to see neurosyphilis, which I've heard about in a book, but being able to see it and be like, oh wow, that is what I learned about, was such a surreal feeling. And to be able to see all of these people get better was something that I will never forget. And just like getting to know my patients. Like, I had one patient who every morning when I would go in there, he would have the biggest smile on his face. And I was with him for 2 weeks, and like, I just really got to know him, and I would go spend time with him every afternoon and just listen to his stories and just chat with him. And every morning he'd be like, come on, just pull up a chair, you don't have to go. And I was like, I'm sorry, I have other patients and I want to come back, but I have to do other things, but I promise I'll be back this afternoon. And it was just great to be able to have that kind of patient continuity that I've never really had with anyone. It was great because they know your face, they know that you're their person when they're at the hospital. So it was fun. And then I went to 4 weeks on house med at UMMC, which was so much fun. Like, our residents were 10 out of 10. We had a new intern and a third year upper level who were both amazing. And if they're watching this, big shout out to Will and Mallory, because y'all made my experience the best that it could have ever been. And also shout out to Green Team in general, because we were the best team for sure. But we got to see a little bit of everything. We spent so much time there. We get there every morning at 5:30 a.m. Pre-round on our patients, then pre-round, then go to morning report, then round with our attending, then go to sometimes a conference where we learn different topics for our board exam. And then we would go back to the room after that and round again, or go see our patients and put in orders, which was really cool to be able to put in orders, because I know a lot of people don't get to do that. But at UMMC, we're allowed to pin orders and then they can release them. So if we ever thought that, oh, we should get this lab for our patient, we were allowed to pin it and like give them our ideas, and then the residents could yay or nay it. And most of the times they would be like, yeah, let's go for it, and like, let's see if you can get that diagnosis, which was so fun. And it was just a great time. And we would have call days, and we would have to go down to the ER, do HMPs, and get to follow that patient their entire hospital course, which I've never done. And it was so fun. Like, you would take them from the ER, then they would get up to the floor, and then you would be with them for, some of my patients I had for 2 weeks. And so you got to really know them. And it was just great to see them like come in and get better, and like know that you helped them in some kind of way. Even as a med student, like, you're so helpful. And it's something that like everyone tells you, but you're like, am I actually gonna do something? Yes. Like, you are so helpful. We had a few code blue situations, and so we got to do chest compressions. I never did chest compressions, but one of my friends did, and she killed it, and we got the pulse back, and the patient survived. And it was kind of like one of those surreal moments where you're like, oh, I know I'm CPR and ACLS trained, but like, when am I ever gonna use that? And we used it, and it worked, and it was honestly amazing to watch. Like, just watching everyone working together was great. And then I got to meet so many people in my class that like I knew but didn't know. And it was fun seeing all my classmates in the hallway, and some were on surgery and some were on neuro, and I was just like, oh my gosh, hey everyone, we're in the hospital having the best time. But yeah, it was such a great 2 months, which it went by so fast, and I miss it already. But now I get to study for our board that we have on Friday, and then I get to go home, and I haven't been home in so long. So this past month has been a lot of ups, a few downs, but mostly ups. This next month is gonna be so fun, so many exciting things happening. My birthday's in a month, so that'll be fun. And hopefully I get to see more of my friends, because it's been crazy these last few weeks. We're moving. Me, Abby, and Allie are all gonna live together, and we're moving into a house, which is gonna be a great time. So I'll have to show you all that. We kind of want to do like a moving vlog just to have. And then I get to go home again for my birthday and have exciting times with my family. And yeah, It's gonna be a great few months. I have loved M3 year so much. To any M1, M2, anyone trying to get into medical school, it is so worth it to be with your patients. Like, there is nothing that will ever compare to it. The school is very hard, don't get me wrong, but it's so worth it in the end. And I just can't wait to see what I end up doing. I know I'm gonna love everything, and that's gonna be a struggle in a year, but I'm so excited for the rest of my rotations, and I can't wait to bring all along and kind of just see what I end up doing. It's gonna be weird to look back on this one day and be like, oh, that's what I ended up doing, and that's how I felt. So yeah, thanks for tuning in.